Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Queen Osset here. Today is the first day of Kwanzaa, and so I say to you, Habari Gani. Habari Gani is Swahili for what's the news. And today, as I said, is the first day of Kwanzaa. It's a 7-day celebration that many of us of African descent celebrate. It's not an official federal holiday. No banks are closed, no one takes any time off. But it's a celebration to look back over the things that we've accomplished through the year, bring together our families, and just work together collectively. But this year, I invite all of you to join us, me, and my family in celebrating Kwanzaa. Now, I know a few of you have asked me, even if you are not, let's say, African American, I'm not African American, I'm West Indian. Let's say you are Caucasian, okay? Let's just put it there. And you want to honor and celebrate. You are absolutely more than welcome. And we open our hearts and our doors to you. You see, this is a time of all of us of African descent. And I am sure that if you went far enough back in your ancestry, in your DNA, if scientists were able to put, I'm looking for something here, a tiny drop of your blood on the top of this pen, they will be able to extract a bit of information that will connect you to Africa. Now, you may have your lineage or your heritage, your ancestry may have been intertwined and blended out and all of that to the point where there's not much African ancestry in your blood, but scientists have proven that the birthplace of mankind is in the mother continent. So, again, I say to you, Habari Gani. Okay, so Kwanzaa is Swahili or Kiswahili, and it's derived from the phrase of Matunda ya Kwanzaa. I am not expecting you to know these words, but 7 days, 7 principles, and I'm going to give you the pronunciation of the words, and you can practice them, okay? It means, Kwanzaa means the first fruits in Swahili, and everybody, all of us celebrate differently, but one of the big things that we do, we just all know that this is a time for us to all come together. This is a time where we really take a look at our values, our contributions, and want to continue on building and strengthening our communities. Now, I have been I've watched Yule Fest, and I've watched caroling marathons, and I've seen a lot of things that were not inclusive, unfortunately. Not intentional, I get it, okay? But nevertheless, they were not inclusive. And one of the questions that I had always asked, especially at the beginning of this year, since we are supposedly, we dip into the well of collective consciousness and, we all draw from the same well, etc., etc., etc. I always wanted to know, if we're pulling out from that well, who's replenishing that well? Who's refilling it? And I'm looking at the world around me, and I feel like what is being put back into the well isn't really something that is spiritually digestible. That's my personal opinion. Okay, so the 7 principles of Kwanzaa are called Nguzo Saba. And When you see, that's N-G-U-Z-O, nguzo, right? So you want to say it like it's back here in your throat, nguzo, Saba. And today, as I said, the first day of Kwanzaa is marked by Umoja. Umoja. Umoja means unity. Let me get my paperwork here. All right. Umoja is where we strive for and maintain unity in the family, the community, the nation, and the race. And by the community, I mean our tarot community, our card slinger community, our witchy community, whatever community that we are all part of. Our nation happens to be where we all live at this moment, which is currently for me, I am in the USA, and our race. And this is not black race, this is not Native American, this is not white, this is the human race. Because unfortunately, many of us have forgotten that if we are pricked by a sharp needle or cut with a knife, your blood and my blood is the same. Now, for those of you who are star children, star seeds, I can't speak on that. But if you inhabit this planet and you consider yourself a human being, then you are part of a race called the human race. Okay? So, catch my breath here. I have a lot I want to share with you, but I do not want to bore you. So, this year, I know last year I introduced you guys to Kwanzaa. Sasha Graham had a Kwanzaa spread in her book, 365 Days Tarot Spreads, right? So this year I wanted to do something differently. This year, I reached out to Veronica Rose. Veronica Rose lives on the other side of the world. And about 10 days ago, I told her, I need you to help me do this. I have a harebrained idea, and I want to create a tarot spread for every principle of Kwanzaa. I wanted to have a tarot spread created for every day of Kwanzaa, marking every principle, and somehow, I don't know, fleshing it out. And Veronica, she took the bull by the horns. She picked up the gauntlet that I tossed into the ring, and she ran with it. And she created several, I'm going to say 7 dynamic tarot spreads based on every principle of Kwanzaa. And every day, you come back to this channel, you're going to be introduced to a different principle and the tarot spread to match. And every spread has 7 placements. So she's honoring the number 7, which is matter for us, our collective consciousness, our highly spiritual connection, development, all of that. And it's just fantastic what I've seen. So I cannot wait to share with you guys. And I do hope that you guys will, do a video response. Come in, chime in. This is open for everyone. I know that 2019 is supposed to be a depth year for many. For me, I'm not really sure about a depth year, but I'm going to begin 2019 today, December 26th, by going wide. I'm going to cast the net far out, far wide, and I'd like each of you to grab on and hold on and participate in this Kwanzaa celebration. Okay, so let's get on with some of the representations of Kwanzaa. Hopefully I'm not too washed out with this light. It's sunny here where I am. Okay, so as I said, so you see the colors are red, black, and green for Kwanzaa. And red is for the noble blood that unites all people of African ancestry. That's you and I. As I said earlier, if I was to cut you, your blood will be red. I hope, anyway. Black is for the people. And that's all of us. Black represents where we come from. We all come from Africa at some point. You all came out of the mother continent. And green is for the rich land of Africa. And I believe so much healing can be done in that great continent. So many resources are still there in spite of all the heinous crimes that have been committed against the mother continent. Now, I'm going to show you what we have, some of the tools. I think I introduced you last year to some things. And every day represents, I'm not going to say tools, what are they? Items, things that we put out on our table, on our altar, and they start to vibrate this high energy until it all comes together on the 7th day. All right? So today, as I said, is Umoja, right? Umoja means unity. And that is represented by mazao. Say mazao. These are the crops, the fruits, the nuts, the vegetables. And I have, don't want it to tip over, a bowl here of some fruits. Pomegranate. I have a yam and some clementines, grapes, and an apple. Fruits, yes? Okay. So, on the 2nd day, we have kujichagulia, and that is represented by the mkeka, which is the placemat. And you can find a beautiful placemat. You can use, last year I used a piece of Ankara, which is African cotton fabric. Usually comes out of Ghana or Nigeria. But this year I have chosen to use a piece of burlap. Burlap to me is very earthy, it's very grounding, and it's just something that I wanted to use this year. And I am going to actually I am setting up a portable altar situation for you guys. So hopefully I can come back to it in the next videos coming down. So, Kujichagulia, day 2, that's self-determination. Day 3 is Ujima. Ujima. And this is collective work and responsibility. And that is represented by Vibunzi, which is an ear of corn. Ooh, that glare is something else. Maybe I need to turn my, no, this way. You see that? It's still in the husk. And I'll go into that. And usually what you want to do is have an ear of corn for every child in your family. So I have one for my son, one for my close friends' children, and one for my YouTube community's children. So I have 3 ears of corn. Okay, on the 29th we have Ujama, and that is represented by what we call Mishumba Saba, the 7 candles. And I have a Kanara standing. My Kanara is on the table. Next day, on the 30th, is Nia, and that's purpose. And that is the Kanara. Each day I will explain more. And on the 31st is Kuumba, which is creativity. And that is represented by the Unity Cup. And I have a wooden cup that I use, but since most of you are tarotistas, The Unity Cup this year is going to be that. This is my birth card, the Strength card. So, that's the Unity Cup. Ooh, let me put this over here. Put this there. Put that up there. Okay. And on the last day, which is January 1st, is Imani. And that means faith. And that is represented by gifts. So, let's get on with it. Umoja. As I said, today, December 26th, is the first day of Kwanzaa. And it's represented by the mazao, crops, your fruits, your nuts, and it symbolizes work and the basis of the holiday. It represents the historical foundation for Kwanzaa, the gathering of the people that is patterned after the African harvest festivals, in which joy, sharing, and unity and thanksgiving are the fruits of collective planning and work. Since the family is the basic social and economic center of every civilization, the celebration bonded family members, reaffirming their commitment and responsibility to each other. In Africa, the family may have included several generations of 2 or more nuclear families as well as distant relatives. Ancient Africans didn't care how large the family was, but there was only one leader, the oldest male and the strongest group. For this reason, an entire village may have composed of one family, and the family was a limb of a tribe that shared common customs, cultural traditions, and political unity, and was supposedly descended from the common ancestors. So, through personal sacrifice and hard work, the farmers sowed seeds that brought forth new plant life to feed the people and other animals of the earth. To demonstrate their mazao, celebrants of Kwanzaa place nuts, fruits, and vegetables representing work on the mkeka, which means that you will take your fruits and place them on the mat that you have. Okay? So, Veronica has devised a spread, which is fantastic. And I'll see. You follow me on Instagram, you can get I'm going to hold this up so you can get the questions, because this is a lot to type. You can see the layout, and I wish you could see it in color. Go to my Instagram page, you'll see it in color. Okay, so we're almost 20 minutes in, and I haven't done the spread yet. I'm going to use the Naked Heart Tarot. And the 7 questions are: describe my overall beliefs and attitudes to unity. How can I improve unity in and the second card will be family and with loved ones. 3rd, social network. 4th, professional life. 5th, community. 6th, nation. And 7th, race. So, describe my overall beliefs and attitudes towards unity. And I am using the Naked Heart Tarot. You all are familiar with this deck by Jillian C. Wilde. Okay. Describe my overall beliefs and attitudes towards unity. Well, let's see what I get. I'm going to wipe shuffle here. My girlfriend's here at the house to help me do a better camera setup. So, hopefully moving forward, maybe I won't come across so grainy or so blurry, or I don't know. We'll see. All right. Are you ready? Card to describe my overall beliefs and attitudes towards unity. Oh, 6 of Pentacles. My attitude towards unity, give and take. You know, I know striving for balance And sometimes that balance isn't always that 50-50. Sometimes it's a 60-40. Again, my attitude towards unity is sometimes you have to be the one sitting in the passenger seat, and sometimes you're the driver, and it's okay. It's a give and take. It's a push and pull, but it's not stressful. It's not over exaggerated. It's not overbearing or willful. I like that. Six of Pentacles. And I'm just going to pull straight from the top for my next card. Oh, how can I prove unity in my family and with loved ones? This should be interesting. Mother of Cups. The great whale. I could be more nurturing. I could be perhaps more giving, more receptive, more open, I suppose. Unfortunately, I'm not very close to my family, so that's something to discuss and work on in 2019. Okay. How can I improve my unity with my family? Oops, I'm sorry. In my social network. And I have Justice. Well, well, well. Would you believe this is my card for 2019? The Justice card. We just talked about that balance, but truthfulness as well. Be very, very clear. Speak my truth, walk my truth, stand in my truth. That's how I can improve unity with my social network. Just be very, very clear. Keep balance. Keep a clear head, clear focus. How can I improve unity in my professional life? Eight of Pentacles. Really? Nose to the grindstone? More work? Really? Like, how much harder? We're going to need to discuss this, okay? Seriously, we're going to need to discuss this. I'm going to have to revisit this. How can I improve unity in my professional life? Maybe it's not actually working at work. Maybe it's working at my relationships at work. As I said, I tend to be a bit overbearing. You know, I like to get things done. And maybe that's what I need to do, is actually work on those relationships at work. I have a viewpoint of when I'm doing my thing, you know, work is work. There is no in between. But I think I have like a little bit of social connectivity with my coworkers. Maybe that's something I could work on. How can I improve unity in my community? The Moon. Within my community, go deep within, trust my instinct, pay attention, do what I'm doing now. Do not be afraid to go deep. Do not be afraid, I'm looking at this wolf, to be the lone wolf, to be the one to carve the way, create a new path. How can I improve unity in my nation? And that's my the Hangman. I can see this in a way. This, to me, is pausing and looking at things from a different perspective. Now, the nation that we live in, you know, these current times is giving a whole new meaning to LWB. For me, you know, Little White Book is now Living While Black. And this is asking me to pause, stop, look at things from a different perspective. And this is something else I'm going to have to sit with as well. lessons coming up. And the last card, how can I improve my unity in my race, human race? The Three of Pentacles. And I think this works with my, what I said about my career, my profession. Be more of a team player, activist, participant, you know. And hopefully I'm starting with this. I always felt that I was. Well, we'll see. So, I am now going to pull an oracle card to wrap this up, you know, give us some positivity. I'm going to have to sit with those cards for a minute. And I am going to use my Adinkra ancestral cards. I don't know if you can see. There we go. Let's get a message here. I'll come back in and do a walkthrough of this deck. But I'm going to pull a card from here, and I'm going to pull a card from the magical times, because I'm going to pull together two parts of my ancestry, my Gaelic ancestry and my African ancestry. All right, what message do we have here from the Adinkras? Ancestors, what message do you have? Let's see. Abedwa. That aside. Abedwa. That's Twe. The palm tree is a symbol of resourcefulness, as various products originate from it. Wine, oil, and wood. Abedwa is the palm tree. Let me see what she has here in the book. Wealth, resourcefulness, vitality, self-sufficiency. You have drawn this card to remind you that you have many skills, ideas, and stories that can sustain you. Look at yourself through the various lenses of possibility and watch your potential grow. You are resourceful. Create the opportunities you need. You have various skills and gifts. Use them. You can create your way out of any issue. Interesting. And my magical times. So that's about creativity. All of us, I think, that messages that we can, you know, if we put our heads together, that creatively we can come up with ways to get over this social social stuff that we're dealing with, this world that we're dealing with, this divisiveness that we are living with, that collectively we can come together and do something that's inclusive of everyone. And dance. Find your heart's rhythm and step lightly and swing with the melody. Close your eyes and let joy lead the way. And music, outside of food, tends to be the one thing that brings many people together from different cultures. So maybe, especially with these two cards, you know, we're talking about doing something creative, collective, something that's joyful. And for this first day of Kwanzaa, music tends to be something that's part of the Kwanzaa festival as well. So, I am going to sign off now. Tonight, on the first night of Kwanzaa, you will light the first candle, Habari Gani. Umoja. And with that, I am complete. I shall see you tomorrow.